Number 5. Amber Tuccaro. 20-year-old Amber Tuccaro went missing on August 18th of 2010. The previous day, Amber, her 14-month-old son, and her female friend flew from Edmonton International Airport from her hometown of Fort McMurray, Alberta. Once the three arrived, they booked themselves into a motel in Nisku, close to the airport where they had spent the night. The next evening, Amber left the motel to catch a ride into the city of Edmonton. She decided to hitch a ride with an unknown male, which turned out to be the worst mistake of her life. The next day, after not hearing from her, Amber's friends informed their mother, who reported her missing. On August 28th of 2012, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police released a 61-second cell phone recording to the public, which captured the conversation Amber had with an unknown man she got a ride with. Police didn't explain how they obtained the recording, but hoped someone could identify the male's voice. Here's the call.
Where are we by?
We're just heading south of Beaumont, or north of Beaumont.
We're heading north to Beaumont. Yo, where are we going? No, this is a... Are you fucking kidding me? You better not take me anywhere I don't want to go. I want to go into the city. Jeez. Yo, we're not going into the city, are we?
We're going.
No, we're not.
Yes.
Then where the fuck are these roads going to?
50th Street.
50th Street. Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Yo, where are we going?
50th Street.
50th Street?
50th Street.
East, right?
East.
Over town.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Just 4 days after the recording was released to the public, Amber's remains were found by horseback riders on a rural property near Leduc County. In the recording, the unknown driver claimed he was driving north. However, RCMP investigators believe that instead of driving north to the city, he drove southeast along the rural roads of Leduc County. Although police released the 61-second recording, the call actually lasted for 17 minutes, which is practically the amount of time it would take to drive from the motel Amber was last seen in to the location her body was discovered. CBC News has learned that the call actually came from Amber's brother, who was locked up in the Edmonton Remand Center, where all outgoing calls are recorded. Police have said that due to the recording, they have received hundreds of tips, but still have not identified the unknown driver. Number 4. The Tromp family. On August 29th of 2016, an Australian family of 5 decided to go on a technology-free, off-the-grid road trip, convinced that they were being pursued and needed to escape their home. For reasons unknown, married couple Mark and Jacoba Tromp were convinced that someone was out to rob and kill them, and believed that they had to flee their Red Currant farm. They took with them their 3 adult children aged 22, 25, and 29, and drove away in their gray Pugo station wagon. They left their passports, credit cards, and cell phones behind, and when they discovered that their son Mitchell had bought a cell phone along on the trip, they made him throw it out of the window, as if they were convinced it was being used as a tracking device. Each member of the family, over the course of 6 days, was found one by one. Mitchell was the first to leave the group. After traveling all night with his family, at around 7 a.m. the next morning, he left the car as he was not convinced by the paranoid theories shared by his other family members. Later that day, the 2 daughters of the group, Rihanna and Ella, also left their parents and stole a car and drove to the town of Goulburn, where they reported their parents as missing. The 2 sisters then decided to part ways, as Ella wanted to go home and feed her horses and Rihanna did not. Police found Ella once she arrived back at the family home. Shortly after, Mitchell also arrived back at the home. Rihanna was the last of the children to be discovered. She was mysteriously found in a catatonic state in the back of a stranger's vehicle. She did not know who or where she was. The next day, Jacoba, the mother of the family, was found aimlessly wandering in the town of Yass, 217 miles away from her last known location. It is unclear how she arrived there and at which point she had left her husband. Jacoba was found in a delusional, agitated, and confused state. She and her daughter Rihanna were both taken into psychiatric care. As public interest grew, Mitchell and Ella were both interviewed on live TV, where they attempted to explain what had happened to their family and spoke about their missing father.
Can you shine any light on or perhaps explain why he may not want to be found?
Because he's scared that people are after him. He's not in a good state of mind.
And start off on this trip, I think it's just quite a confusing story.
It is very confusing. I still feel confused. I think our state of minds wasn't in the best place. And yeah,
it's
I
hard
can't
to
even
explain.
Really, yeah. There's no
bizarre,
one reason for it. It's, bizarre. Yeah.
On the 6th day of the ordeal, Mark Tromp was finally found near Wangaratta Airport and was taken to the local police station. He didn't appear to appreciate the media attention and offered the middle finger to photographers and reporters. Investigators can find no reason why the family felt the need to flee from their home. No drugs were involved, and no previous history of mental illness has been discovered. Theories ranging from chemical poisoning to stress in the family to toxins in the water or even just a hoax have been put forward. Some are also speculating that folie à deux, which in English is translated as the madness of many, could be responsible for the close-knit family sharing a heightened delusion of paranoia or fear. Although this is only speculation, as the real reason for their actions and their apparent need to escape is yet to be discovered. Number 3. Andrew Gosden. 14-year-old Andrew Gosden went missing on September 14th of 2007. He was last seen by his parents leaving home early for school. The teenager, who was described as a math genius by his teachers, was very intelligent and was into the goth scene. On the morning of his disappearance, instead of going to school, Andrew returned to his home in Doncaster, England, knowing that his parents had left for work. He then changed out of his uniform, emptied his savings account of £200, and bought a one-way ticket to London. Andrew, when offered, refused to buy a round-trip ticket, despite it costing only 50 pence more. This refusal would seem to imply that the 14-year-old never planned on returning. An eyewitness on the train reported that Andrew was playing on his PSP console for the duration of the journey. Strangely, however, investigators later discovered that he did not take his PSP charger with him on the trip. This CCTV footage shows Andrew as he walked into London King's Cross Station at around 11:20 a.m., over 150 miles from his hometown, and is the last time he was seen alive. Andrew's family have no idea of his potential motive for traveling to London. There have been no subsequent sightings, and all search efforts have led to no results, with TV, radio, and internet campaigns also proving futile. His parents have since added money to his bank account in hopes of detecting him, but this money has never been used or withdrawn. Many believe that Andrew may have traveled to London to make a fresh start. However, £100 was found untouched in his bedroom, which weakens that theory. Some have pointed out that when freezing the security camera footage, a reflection of a man can be seen in the glass, who appears to be looking directly in Andrew's direction. Was this person someone the schoolboy had planned on meeting? Perhaps most strangely of all, a few years after the teen went missing, a visitor to a police station claimed to have information on the case. But because the station was closed, the man was asked to return the following day. However, he never did. The search for Andrew continues. Number 2. Brandon Lawson. On August 9th of 2013, 26-year-old Brandon Lawson went missing from his car on Highway 277 near Bront, Texas. After getting into an argument with his girlfriend, Brandon left his home just before midnight before calling his brother a short while later to report that he had run out of gas. When his brother arrived at the station, Brandon was no longer in his car. The vehicle had no damage, and his phone and his keys were gone. In addition to calling his brother, Brandon had also contacted 911. In the mysterious and unclear phone call, Brandon breathlessly and fearfully asked the police to please hurry, and seemed to utter the words, "We're not talking to them." From this exchange, it's pretty safe to say Brandon was with someone else, but it is also impossible to know who and what the statement meant. What is clear, however, is that he sounds very desperate and incredibly scared. Although Brandon's 911 phone call is very hard to understand, repeated listening seems to imply that some unidentified people were trying to take him into the woods, though this speculation cannot be confirmed. After arriving at the abandoned vehicle, Brandon's brother's girlfriend decided to give him a call and was told by Brandon that he was 10 minutes up the road and mentioned that he was bleeding. This was the last time they ever heard from him. Brandon's family and friends are unable to guess what happened that night, and all speculation has been fruitless. The 29-year-old has 4 children and a girlfriend, and no apparent motive to run away. No trace of Brandon has since been found. Number 1. Peter Bergman. From June 12th to June 16th of 2009, a mysterious elderly man with a heavy Germanic accent visited the coastal town of Sligo in Ireland, where he spent his final days. The man checked himself into the Sligo City Hotel under the name Peter Bergman and paid for his stay in cash. On June 16th, the body of this enigmatic man was found on a beach under very mysterious circumstances. Investigators looked at all of the available CCTV footage in an attempt to work out what had happened to him. They noticed that when Bergman left the hotel each morning, he was carrying a disposable plastic bag. He would then return later each day, seemingly without this bag. It is believed that he was gradually and carefully disposing of his personal belongings, though no evidence has ever been found. On the second morning of his stay, the man visited the local post office, where he purchased 8 postage stamps and airmail stickers. Presumably, this means that he sent out several letters in the post, most likely to friends and family, but this is only speculation. The CCTV footage assembled from the case shows a great deal of the man's comings and goings inside the hotel and around town. However, no footage exists of the moment in which he disposed of the contents of his purple bag. Investigators believe that by meticulously and intentionally avoiding cameras during these key moments, the man was attempting to hide his actions and decrease the chances of his disposed belongings ever being found. It is unknown why this man seems so intent on permanently hiding his identity, though it is clear that this was very important to him. The real mystery began when investigators uncovered that the name Peter Bergman was an alias, and there is no record of anyone in the same age bracket or description possessing this name anywhere. On his final days in Sligo, the man checked out of the hotel with his purple plastic bag and 2 more black bags. He then walked back to the bus station where he is spotted on CCTV carrying only 2 bags. The man goes inside the coffee shop and can be seen in the footage pulling out a piece of paper, reading it, and tearing it up. He then took a bus to the beach of Ross's Point. Many witnesses saw him and reported that he was pacing up and down the beach and seemed to be behaving strangely. It is at this beach that his body was later found. Bizarrely, the mysterious man had removed all labels from his clothing and had no wallet, money, or any forms of identification on his person. An autopsy was performed and determined that there were no signs of foul play and no signs of saltwater drowning. Further examination shows that the man had extensive prostate cancer and numerous bone tumors. But despite his bad health, the toxicology report shows that there were no drugs, including painkillers, in his system, which meant that he would have been in a significant amount of pain. The most accepted theory is that the man traveled to Ireland and had decided to take his own life. However, despite further investigations, police are completely unable to discover who this man was, how he died, and the reasons for his mysterious actions. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by clicking the like button, share, and write a comment. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can check out my next video.